Let the algorithm do its job. Well, well, well. I waited to do this. I've been waiting to do this show right here for real. I've been waiting, but I said I'm gonna be patient, and we're here today. Tap in with King Supreme, man. Let's get this show rolling. First thing this morning, let's get the show rolling. And we ain't talk. Excuse me, and we ain't talking Roland Martin. Nah, we ain't rolling like Martin. We ain't rolling like that. What up, SR sir? Hey man, I got a lot of stuff, man. I got some stuff that you sent me that I'ma still do, bro. Nah, we ain't over here rolling like Martin. We got a purpose over here. What there's a purpose. We have a purpose. Hit the like button, man. Tap on in, man. I appreciate you all. Let's get it. Now, I'm gonna give you guys my take on everything and my honest opinion. I've seen Democrats crashing out. I even seen certain black women crashing out, saying that black men are terrible for bashing Jasmine Crockett. They said we talked about her weave, we called her ratchet and ghetto. We just drugged this poor woman all through social media, through media. Period. We drugged the woman, and well, not drug as in drug her as in clowning her and roasting her. Right? Yeah. Now I want to say this: did the black community give Jasmine Crockett a fair shot? Was she judged unfairly by her own people? Or do we say, nah, she's responsible for her downfall, all the ratchetness, all the sister girl energy? You know, so some people say, nah, she brought it on herself. She was trying to be too ghetto, talking crazy, running her mouth, not thinking about what she's saying. And then a lot of black women say, no, it's black men's fault. It's black men's fault. They're the reason that Jasmine Crockett didn't win. Well, there was a lot of black people saying that it was our fault for Kamala Harris losing this past election, right? Black men got blamed for it, right? They said, a lot of your sister girls out there in the sister girl community, they said if black men would have got on board, Kamala Harris would have won that past election. So they said black men didn't want to get on board with black women to support Harris. It's the same thing. Black men didn't want to get on board to support Jasmine Crockett. They're saying the same thing. Now, these are Democrats, right? These are Democrats. You know, you got some black women who vote Republican and some who are independent. But for the most part, these were Democrats who were pretty damn upset with black men, saying that it is our fault for Crockett losing. You know, and we're gonna get into that. We are gonna get into that. Virgil said, shout out to Virgil. He said Jasmine Crockett lost because nobody voted for her. Black, you know what? Well, you know, they said, man, black men didn't get on board. And since we didn't get on board, that's the reason for her losing. But we're gonna dive into that. And we're gonna see, we're gonna see it, we're gonna see what it is. I appreciate everybody for tapping in with me this morning. Shout out to everybody. It's lovely, it's beautiful. Hey man, I can't call it. Let's get back to it. The content. I appreciate you all. Motor culture. Shout out to all my people in the comments. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yeah, man. Larry Purnell, man. Shout out to Larry Purnell, man. I appreciate you guys for pulling up. Mike Bailey, Tammy Jackson, always in the building. Emmett Till, man. What's good, Emmett Till? Yeah. It's so real. Shout out to Emmett Till. Let's get into it, man. We ain't gonna waste no time. Let's dive right into the conversation. Shout out to this brother right here, man.
No one. I gotta get through this. 6 years ago, no one believed that I could become a state representative.
And 6 years later, still nobody believed that you should have ever been in Congress. Well, except for people like this.
Black folks, the real reason why people did not want Jasmine Crockett to win, it isn't policy, y'all. It's not her experience and it's not her incompetence. It's about two things, y'all. It's race and it's gender. Because to this country, a black person winning is already too much, y'all. But y'all put a black woman winning, that's double the threat, double the hate. And y'all know what's even sadder and even sicker and even more sadistic? You've got black men online tearing Jasmine down for her wigs, weave, lashes, ghetto, being loud, throwing her under the bus.
As one of those black men who may have made a comment.
Black men, are y'all tearing Crockett down for her weave, man? I mean, I want to get some feedback, bro. Excuse me, my fault. Let me clear my throat. Are black men responsible for dragging Crockett for her weaving ghetto mentality? I mean, she said it's black men's fault. She said they're already dealing with white supremacy and racism, and black men added fuel to the fire by dragging Jasmine. Black men were supposed to be in full support of Crockett. So blame black men. What she said is she expect that from white people. You know, we expect that from white people. But when you got black men that are dragging you, you know, black men are supporting white supremacy by dragging Sister Crockett all over social media. Now, are black men to blame? Or do we say, no, she would have lost regardless? And let's take it a step further. A Latino woman said, she gave the reason why they didn't vote for Crockett. This was a Latino woman. Hit the like button.
Comment about the weave as well as the ghettoisms. Let me go ahead and say this. The reason Jasmine Crockett did not make it back into Congress is because most people did not want her back in Congress. It had nothing to do with her skin color, honey. Nothing to do with her gender, honey. I mean, all of a sudden they remember what a woman is again. But anyway, I digress. No, it had everything to do with the fact that the ghettoism was overshadowing any sort of competence. And when you got past the ghettoism, you realize that there was no competence.
We are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton.
Now, somebody said we're voting against our best interests. How many people in the chat believe that? How many people believe that Jasmine Crockett had our best interests in mind? So if we didn't vote for Jasmine Crockett, somehow we voted against our best interests. Let me see who said that. Somebody in the comments said, I'm gonna pin what you said because I want people to see this. I want people to see this. You're gonna have to stand on that. You're gonna have to stand on that. Mogul Mays, what it do, bro? Shout out to you, Pasadena. I'm gonna show you what the Latina said. Now, Great Tone, this is what Great Tone said. Great Tone said, we love voting against our best interests. So according to this individual, Jasmine Crockett had our best interests in mind. Now, if you agree with that in the comments, let it be known if you agree with that in the comments. I guess Jasmine Crockett had our best interests in mind, and voting against her only hurts us, according to this individual. Okay? So, yeah.
No one. I gotta get through this. 6 years ago, no one believed that I could become a state representative.
And 6 years later, still nobody believed that you should have ever been in Congress. Well, except for people like this.
Black folks. The real reason.
All right, let's go to the next clip. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Now let's see what this white man had to say. Now,
Jasmine Crockett, who is easily one of our dumbest members of Congress, got absolutely destroyed in her election last night.
Now this one, listen, Crockett did a lot of caping for the Latino community with the immigrant situation. She said we need immigrants and open borders, right? Now she did all that caping for the Latinos and they did not vote for her. They didn't vote for her. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to come back to this clip. I'm going to show you, shout out to Phil Scott, man. Phil Scott posted it, and I'm going to come right back to this. That white man was dragging Jasmine Crockett. Check this out.
For Texas.
Now.
So there's a Latina that's come out of Texas.
Now, the Latina community did not vote for Crockett. Listen, the Latino community would vote for a white person before they vote. They will vote for a white person before they vote. Excuse me, before they vote. It's sunshine. They're not going to vote for a black person. The Latino community, they're not going to do it. Even if it's in their best interest to vote for that black person, the Latino community, they're not going to do it. Then you wonder why you had so many Latinos for Trump. Now, Kamala Harris would have did more for the Latinos than Donald Trump. Kamala Harris would have kept the borders wide open. Kamala Harris was going to sit up there and let Pedro and Hector and Maria and them cross the border by the millions. But see, this is the thing with the Latin community. The Latino community rather vote for a white person rather than vote for a black person that has their best interest in mind. Now, it shows you how deep that anti-black racism goes. The Latino community would rather vote against their best interests opposed to voting for somebody that's black who might actually do something that benefits them. The Kamala Harris situation is a prime example. Now, black people, we voted for Kamala Harris, even though open borders hurts the black community directly. So foundational black Americans voted against their best interests. Why do I say that? Because the overwhelming majority of FBA people voted for Kamala Harris. I'm just giving you the facts. The majority of Latinos voted for Trump. So the Latino community voted backwards and foundational black Americans voted backwards. These are two backwards communities. Neither one of these communities voted for their best interests. Foundational black Americans got to be a damn fool voting for Kamala Harris, and all she was going to do is keep the borders open to overpopulate black communities across the country, and she still won the majority of foundational black Americans vote. Crazy, isn't it? On the flip side, Latinos don't like the fact that their people are getting deported. Well, they voted for the man that's deporting them. So it's like, damn, what is wrong with you? Do you guys have common sense? Do you have a brain? Because there's no way, if I'm Latino, listen, if I'm Latino, I'm not voting for Donald Trump. I want to get all my people over here. Anyway, let me be quiet. Let's get into this right here. Now this Latino woman is going to explain why the Latin community did not support Jasmine Crockett and her shenanigans. Let's go. Shout out to Phil Scott.
Want to get into why a lot of Latinos did not vote for Jasmine Crockett, even though she has been pro-immigration. She has pandered to immigrants. She really has. She's not pandered to FBA. And I want you to hear what this woman has to say, even though she's been doing all her pandering all this time. And I want you black politicians to pay attention to this too. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Oh no. What do you mean? Jasmine not going to Congress for Texas? Oh, Crockett, a girl can only dream. Listen, Jasmine, what was that one quote that you said? Anything. Oh yeah, we done picking cotton. You can't pay us enough to go find a plantation. Yeah, you remember that?
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I remember that. How could I forget? See, 6.5 million Hispanic voters in Texas, which is like the majority of the electoral vote here in the state. And you mean to tell me that you...
When you allow so many immigrants come over here, then next thing you know, you got to cater to them for votes because they'll overpopulate Texas. They'll overpopulate California. So the last thing you want is for people south of the border to overpopulate Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. That's the last thing you want, because now that you have a large population, you have to cater to them. You got to depend on their votes. And that's the last thing that you want as a foundational Black American. Pandering to them is not going to help the plight or the cause of foundational Black Americans at all. Now, you got an idiot in the comment section by the name of Samuel. Samuel, do yourself a favor and take a bath. You stink. You smell like dog boo-boo. Go somewhere and sit down, fool. Go and find something else to do besides trolling my comment section. You smell like dog doo-doo, Samuel.
think that we're still picking cotton. How could I forget? See, 6.5 million Hispanic voters in Texas, which is like the majority of the electoral vote here in the state. And you mean to tell me that you think that we're still picking cotton? Hell no, girl. Hell no. That's why you lost. Because you're racist. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. If you would have pitched that in 2002, 2001, you probably could have gotten like a good drift. However, that was people in the past. Those kids that I grew up with that were chasing a field every summer, every spring with their parents, moving school to school because they had to go pick fruit with their parents, are now grown up. And guess what? Do you think that they're gonna go back to picking fields when they have a citizenship? No. As a matter of fact, they're not even looking to vote for blue people with blue policies that put their parents in fields. No. Some of them are real estate investors, business owners, they're passing down generational wealth, and you think that they're picking cotton. You out of your goddamn mind. I'm gonna remind you real quick, the majority of the Latino voters for Trump here in Texas live in the southern border. You know what happened in the southern border? No. Why? Because neither you nor Kamala have the balls to go down there. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Along the Texas border, poverty levels are sky high as it is. When you import a bunch of riffraff from third world countries and they end up in those southern border towns, they strain the resources for those people. Those people can't even survive.
Well, those are your people. The people that are straining the resources are the illegals who cross the border. They come from Mexico. They come from Colombia, El Salvador, Guatemala, Venezuela, Colombia. That's where they're coming from. And you don't even know who these people are. They come over here with fake IDs, fake social security cards. They come to America and they get a brand new identity. And you don't know nothing about the crimes that they committed in their homeland. So yes, they cause a whole lot of problems when they come over here illegally, undocumented. We don't want them. Those are your people. Let's set the record straight.
Neither you nor Kamala have the balls to go down there. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Along the Texas border, poverty levels are sky high as it is. When you import a bunch of riffraff from third world countries and they end up in those southern border towns, they strain the resources for those people. Those people can't even survive. And then you're bringing in all this riffraff with a CBP1 app, Ticketmaster, to the United States, and you leave them there. That's why our governor had to ship all those people out. And then y'all complain, oh, you were shipping all... Yeah, because you guys brought them here. You blue people brought them here to Texas, and the southern towns were suffering. Not only that, but there was violence across the border in Tamaulipas, in Reynosa, all those cartels fighting to bring all those people over here. Why? Because they were profiting billions of dollars. And your ass still thinks that we're picking cotton? Take that. No Congress for Jasmine. As a matter of fact, why don't you go run for Missouri? What did you do in Missouri that they don't want you to run for them? Oh, I know. Exactly. Because people in Missouri see right through your... And so do we in Texas. Keeping Texas red.
So you actually heard what this Latina has to say. So she's saying that basically Jasmine Crockett offended them when she had made that statement inside that church, relegating them to picking cotton, and they didn't like that.
What Crockett said was true, but it was a bad choice of words because you don't want to offend the same people that you're trying to get to vote for you. So she's an idiot, right? Now, what she said was true. Basically, in so many words, she said Mexicans are the new slave. They're the new slaves. Those are the people that come over here and white folks put them on the plantation. Why? Because black folks don't want to do them jobs no more. She was 100% correct, but guess what? Nobody wants to hear the truth. The truth is always offensive. She should have picked her words wisely. She should have said something else. Now, if I was right, if I was her advisor, I would have like, nah, don't say that because you might offend the people. Even though what you're saying is true, you don't want to offend the people that you want to vote for you. But in reality, she was 100% correct. The white man, the government, has used Mexicans as the new slaves. We can't get black people to do these jobs no more. It's not that black people wouldn't want to do them. It's not that black people wouldn't do them. They're not getting paid enough. Black folks said slavery is over. We're not doing it. So what the white man said, okay, you know what? We're going to keep slavery alive. And how are we going to keep slavery alive? We're bringing 1 million Mexicans from south of the border to do these jobs that black folks don't want to do no more. So that is how the government kept slavery alive. They allowed millions of Mexicans to come in. So they said, you know what? That's the closest thing we'll ever get to slavery, bringing these immigrants over to do these cheap jobs, these cheap labor jobs. That's how we'll replace slavery. That's how we'll get past the fact that black folks don't want to do it no more. We'll just bring in millions of Mexicans to do those jobs.
So you actually heard what this Latina has to say. So she's saying that basically Jasmine Crockett offended them when she had made that statement inside that church, relegating them to picking cotton, and they didn't like that. She said that a lot of times they went with their parents, traveling different places, working in the fields, and a lot of them are citizens, and they don't have to do those sort of things anymore. So once again, Jasmine Crockett and her team did not read the room. Jasmine was run off at her mouth, like she liked to do, and don't think, hey, maybe I need to kind of wash my mouth. No, but Jasmine's been very, 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 very pro-immigrant. She has. Anymore. So once again, Jasmine Crockett and her team did not read the room. Jasmine was run off at her mouth, like she liked to do, and don't think, hey, maybe I need to kind of wash my mouth. No, but the interesting part is she said that, yes, but Jasmine's been very, 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 very pro-immigrant. She has. And because she's been very pro-immigrant, you thought they wouldn't pay attention to that too much because she advocated for immigrants. But let me tell you, black politicians, something. Look at the lesson of Jasmine Crockett. You advocate for these other groups, and you say anything they think you shouldn't say out of line. No matter how much you advocated for them, they won't show up to vote for you. Instead of you sitting up here and say, you know what? Let me make sure I'm good with the black community. Because check this out. If you were focusing on black community issues and now you be making comments about immigrants too much. Now, I don't understand if you're on a statewide race in Texas, you're going to have to kind of reach out across the aisle. But if she'd have been focusing more on black issues, because she's in Dallas County, so there's no reason for her to be talking about a bunch of other people, really, other than black folks in her county. And you stick to a black agenda, black issue. Listen, you Congress people who are insulated literally in a black district, you have no excuse because you can't be really voted out unless black people just pissed off with you and they want you out. But Jasmine Crockett was in a insulated district with a lot of black people, and she could have stood on business solely for black people, and she wouldn't have had not a lick of problem getting reelected to Congress.
Yeah. Pandering to them damn Latinos, but offended them in the process. She relegated them to being cotton pickers. Now, what Jasmine Crockett said was 100% correct, but I told y'all, when you tell the truth, people will get offended and start rocking with you. It's the same for YouTube. When you tell people the truth on YouTube, man, I ain't supporting Red no more, man. He hurt my feelings. Never mind the fact that I just told the truth. But nobody cares about the truth. They're more concerned about nobody cares about the truth. They're more concerned with their feelings. Jasmine Crockett offended the same people that she wanted to vote for her. So you know what the Mexicans, hold on, we ain't no cotton pickers. We ain't no slaves. Well, to a certain degree, you guys are. Not talking about the Americanized one. We're talking about the border hoppers. They are the new slaves. They do work on the plantation. The same plantations that black folks used to work on, yeah. Black folks don't want to do it no more. So what do? You bring 1 million Mexicans across the border and you use them for those cheap labor. You use them to get cheap labor. That's exactly what's going on, but nobody wants to hear the truth. But at the same time, if you want these people to vote for you, she should have thought about what she was saying and used her words wisely. The same people that you caped for was the same people that you offended in the process. Now they're not going to vote. They're not voting for you. Matter of fact, they didn't vote for you. They voted for the white man. They wanted a Republican and a white man. All that sister girl energy, all that sassiness did absolutely nothing. Now she's saying the election somehow it was rigged. It was rigged.
See, this is a new day. And some black people didn't vote in the district with a lot of black people, and she could have stood on business solely for black people, and she wouldn't have had not a lick of problem getting reelected to Congress. See, this is a new day. And some black people didn't vote for her either, because some people talk about, I don't like, some of her antics that looks ghetto. Some people like, I don't like that the wig she wear, because she make good money. There's no reason for her wigs be looking like that. Because that's called what it is. Black folks want their people in certain professional positions to look the part and act the part. Black people are very...
I ain't gonna lie, man. Them wigs be looking terrible, bro. I seen better looking wigs on Timo. Damn, Jasmine Crockett was running around with them terrible ass looking wigs. That wig looked horrible.
I don't want to use the word classist, but black people just demand you to be professional. Let me use that term. They demand you to be very professional in those positions, because they say, hey, you represent the black community, and we don't want you to be the representation of the black community and sister girling it up. That's what some people are just saying. Some black women are saying, listen, that's not even how I talk. And we all know how Jasmine was speaking before she got in that position and started doing the sister girl thing. I don't know why. Black people in the Democrat Party, those days of you acting hood and all of that are done. You're not going to be taken seriously by the black community. We can read now. We're not idiots, but we have to be entertained. If you bring out Cardi B around anybody, or Cardi B's endorsing you, and of course she can endorse you all she wants, but I'm talking about you, the one getting her to enjoy.
Cardi B is not gonna convince people to vote for you. Well, we'll get a cosign from Cardi B. Surely that'll influence blacks to vote for me. Absolutely not. You're wrong. You invite Cardi B to a twerk fest, but it ain't got nothing to do with no damn politics. You crazy.
You can't be taken seriously. Why would we take anything Cardi B says seriously? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really think about it. Consider the source, Cardi B. She's not a great political mind at all. Cardi B leaves a bad situation with her husband and get in a worse situation while she's still legally married with a football player who got a gang of baby mamas all over the place.
But this shows you how the sisterhood gives black women terrible advice. You know how many sisters, and I got to be real with you, black women, not saying all of you, but I've seen a lot of you cheering Cardi B on, saying that she elevated. Now, Cardi B was still married. She was still married, hooked up with a man with a gang of baby mamas, and became just one of his many baby mamas. Cardi B is an idiot. She's dumb. Cardi was still legally married when she got pregnant by Stephon Diggs, when he done dug them guts out and impregnated her. Now you're one of his many baby mothers. And the cold part about it is you a married woman. You're still married to Offset, and then you get pregnant by the next man who made you his baby mama. One of many. Cardi, where's your thinking cap? Where's your antennas? But the crazy part about it is the sisterhood said that she upgraded. The sisterhood told Cardi that she elevated. Some of the worst advice that you can give a human being, the sisterhood gave it to Cardi B. Had Cardi B thinking she was doing something. just to look like a damn fool in the end once the smoke cleared. Anyway, let's get back. Man, listen here. The sisterhood giving advice to Cardi B. Man, please.
With a football player who got a gang of baby mamas all over the place. Cardi B leaves a bad situation with her husband and getting,
ooh, yeah, girl. Oh, yeah, Cardi, you upgraded. Ooh, yeah, Cardi, you elevated. Just to get her bird brain deflated once the smoke cleared, and she realized she ain't nothing but on the baby mamas list. She's one of many baby mamas of Stephon Diggs, and Cardi is still a married woman. What a dummy. Shame on you women who encourage that behavior. Shame on all you women from the sisterhood who encourage that ratchet behavior from Cardi. Ooh, yeah, girl, you elevated. Yeah, girl, you upgraded. Got Cardi running around looking like a damn fool.
the worst situation while she's still legally married with a football player who got a gang of baby mamas all over the place. Then she want to get mad when one baby mama show up at the Super Bowl because he said his mama invited the baby mama, which was already around before you got around. And then you want to get mad at him. You already knew what he had going on, or you didn't care. And the crazy part is you got pregnant by him and had a whole baby with the man. You should just went and had another baby Offset. At least you know what you was getting into with him. So why would anybody take Cardi B's advice on any politics? And Cardi B needs to be worrying about her life. We don't want to see Megan Thee Stallion twerking or Gorilla doing any concerts that has something to do with black folks and talking about serious issues. You will lose every time. I'm telling you, it's a new day in black America. That ghetto hood stuff, that's going away, or you're just not going to win. Jasmine just needs to be herself, and she needs to, if she want to come back in 2 years, she can. I mean, because 2 years go like this. That's Congress. She can come back very quick if she want to. She can just run again in her area, or I know they split up her district, but she still can go to a black area no matter what. She can go to a black area and win. I know she can. And to go back to Congress and just stand up in
this is crazy. He said, I think partly why Trashman made the wrong move because she's a tether herself. I noticed that most tethers don't know how to read the room with her. He said she's a tether. Oh, man. I feel you, but I think it has a lot to do with her just being foolish, man, and just running her mouth. Not Cardi. Jasmine Crockett offended the Latinos when she told them they work on plantations. They got pissed off about that. She offended them. Even though we know it's true, they're the only ones willing to work those slave jobs. But like I said, people don't want to hear the truth. Their feelings matter more than the truth. So, well, she did tell the truth. Do you know you can get in trouble by telling the truth? Do you know that people will stop supporting you just for telling them the truth? So, nah, man.
Black people. But them statewide races that you need to depend on Latinos and whites, I said it in last night. You can't depend on them. You can't.
I'm going to speak on that. Shout out to Detroit 313, my brother. I'll speak on that whenever I get a chance, man. Hit the like button.
And you definitely can't depend on them. You sister girling it up. Because they don't even respect that either. Now, you're very professional and all that stuff. Maybe they can rock with you. But Jasmine, you just had to watch your mouth. And that's what, what she's saying cost you the election. Is your mouth. So next time, just be yourself. That's it. Just be yourself. You're very educated. And you got all this experience. Well, just act like it. All that hood rat, I'm keeping that. Even why just keeping it real for some people means I got to start acting, ratchet. Well, why? Why can't keeping it real is like, you know what? All this education I paid for, all the testing, I'm going to lean into my education and be a great representation for black women and girls. Be a great representation in the black community. You know what I'm saying? That's all. So like I said, she may come back in 2 years and run for something else. I mean, Cori Bush is running. So I wouldn't be surprised Jasmine Crockett come back and run for Congress. You know, maybe in these 2 years she may get MSNBC or CNN with Abby Phillip or something.
With Abby Phillip. Like, look.
What's going
People did not want Jasmine Crockett to win. It is a lie. People did not want Jasmine Crockett to win. It isn't policy, y'all. It's not her experience and it's not her incompetence. It's about two things, y'all. It's race and it's gender. Because to this country, a black person winning is already too much, y'all. But y'all put a black woman winning, that's double the threat, double the hate. And y'all know what's even sadder and even sicker and even more sadistic? You've got black men online tearing Jasmine down for her wigs, weave, lashes, ghetto, being loud, throwing her under the bus, doing the goddamn work of white supremacist ideology for free.
No, when you reinforce negative stereotypes, you're feeding into white supremacy. Why do people expect? I ain't gonna say why. I know why they do, but these people expect for black men to support sister girl ratchet behavior. When you support it, they're gonna say, well, we do it because black men like it. When black men speak against it, you're supporting white supremacy. You're bashing black women. You talking down on your sisters. No, we're condemning ratchet and ghetto behavior, especially when you're somebody that's in politics. It's a terrible look. So if when black men do support ratchet activity, black women say, well, we wear weaves and talk crazy because that's what black men like. You speak against it, you're bashing black women. You're supporting white supremacy. So you're not going to win either way. If you condone black women's ratchet behavior, then they say we do it because black men like it. When black men speak against it, you black men are bashing black women. You supporting white supremacy. Lord Jesus, help them.
It's already too much, y'all. No. But y'all put a black in to win.
No.
It isn't policy, y'all. It's not her experience and it's not her incompetence. It's about two things, y'all. It's race and it's gender. Because to this country, a black person winning is already too much, y'all. But y'all put a black woman winning, that's double the threat, double the hate. And y'all know what's even sadder and even sicker and even more sadistic? You've got black men online tearing Jasmine down for her wigs, weave, lashes, ghetto, being loud, throwing her under the bus, doing the goddamn work of white supremacist ideology for free. Still competing with black women, still trying to police them, still not realizing that her winning is not a loss for you. It is a win for an entire race.
No, it is not. No, the hell is not. Jasmine Crockett winning is not a win for the whole damn race. Stop it. You sound foolish. See, listen. This black woman right here will vote for any black woman that runs for office. As long as she's a black woman, she gonna vote for her. She don't care how incompetent, how foolish, how clueless the individual is. As long as it's a black woman, she's gonna vote for her. And unfortunately, we got a lot of people like that in our community. They're gonna vote for her because she's a black woman and for no other reason. It don't matter about her policies. Her policies don't matter. You vote for her because she's a black woman. Yeah.
And y'all know what's even sadder and even sicker and even more sadistic? You've got black men online tearing Jasmine down for her wigs, weave, lashes, ghetto, being loud, throwing her under the bus, doing the goddamn work of white supremacist ideology for free. Still competing with black women, still trying to police them, still not realizing that her winning is not a loss for you. It is a win for an entire race.
No, the hell is not.
We throw that word around ghetto, but what exactly is ghetto? And how come it don't stick to white folks when they do the same goddamn thing? Because when black folks talk loud, dress bold, wear wigs, weave lashes, it's called unprofessional, too hood. But when white folks turn around and cosplay and do the same thing, that same behavior, it's relatable, it's authentic, it's quirky, and it's shared and it's celebrated. Same behavior, different skin, different type of judgment. So now, this backlash isn't about standards. It's about who they think is allowed to lead. And until we stop internalizing white superiority and projecting it back on black women, we'll keep sabotaging our own race.
All right, we're back in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all
Hey, man, she was upset. Man, when I tell you some of these women are so dumb, they don't need a microphone. They don't need to be speaking at all. Jasmine Crockett was caping for illegals. Why would black people vote for her? Oh, I get it. She's a black woman. You vote for her regardless. Never mind her policies. Never mind that she's caping to the immigrant community. You vote for her just because she's a black woman and for no other reason. Nope. We'll pass on that. We're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. No. You can keep it. You vote for her policies don't matter. You vote for her just because she's a black woman. Man, please.
can hear me. Everything is good. That's gravy. That's good. And don't forget, family, go to hiddencolors6.com. We are at a lot of stuff we got to discuss. You know, Jasmine Crockett was running for office down there in Texas. And what was the guy she was going up against? James, what is his last name? What is that man's last name?
Let me tell you guys something. Voting for Jasmine Crockett is the same as voting for Kamala Harris. No different. Both of these women were caping for the immigrant community. They didn't promise FBA people anything, but they want our loyalty so that they can get our vote for doing absolutely nothing. Voting for Jasmine Crockett is no different than voting for Kamala Harris. Straight up and down.
What's the guy's last name? Help me out in the room. I can't think of his last name right now. I'm having a brain fart. What's that? Okay, y'all giving me different names. Tallarico. All right. James Tallarico. And she ended up losing. She lost to James Tallarico. She lost to him. And, you know, she was kind of kicking and screaming at first. And she didn't want to concede. She was saying, oh, the Republicans pulled something slick. She was trying to, you know, talk about how the voting district was somehow manipulated, something like that. Man. But she lost against him. And people are questioning what's going to be her next political move right now. What's going to be her next political move? And family, do you know the Democrats blamed her loss on black men? Boy, the Democrats came out, they sent some of their operatives out here talking about, yeah, the reason why she lost, because they don't want to see a black woman rise. They did that whole bullshit that they did with Kamala. Oh, don't nobody want to see the black woman shine. And particularly black men. Black men don't want to see Jasmine Crockett shine. All the black.
Come on, Tariq. You got to tell it. And shout out to Tariq Nasheed for keeping it a stack. Because a lot of our FBA brothers are too afraid to admit it. The reality of it is they blame black men. Let's just call it what it is. Let's cut it right down the middle. They blame black men for Kamala Harris losing. Now they're blaming black men for Jasmine Crockett losing, right? Is it all black women? No, but it's a lot of these black women who are Democrats blame black men for Kamala Harris losing. Blame black men for Jasmine Crockett losing. Let's just call it what it is. Now, if you're not a black woman that falls in that category, don't get upset. If it don't apply, let it fly. We're speaking to those Democratic black women who are blaming black men for Kamala Harris losing, blaming black men for Jasmine Crockett losing. It just is what it is. Black men need to get on board with black women. Who else said that? That Tiffany Cross chick. Tiffany Cross sat up there with her goofy ass and said, black men need to get on board and black men need to get on board with black women and get in line and vote for Kamala Harris. Black men, you need to fall in line with your women. You a damn lie. Ain't no man is supposed to fall in line with his woman. Your woman falls in line with you. You are the leader of your woman. Let me tell you something, black women, and I'm saying this to women in general. God ain't, listen, for some reason, these women feel like once they get an education and some money, they ain't got to listen to no man. God ain't never said once a woman get money, she ain't got to listen or respect no man. God ain't never told you bras that. But for some reason, but we know where it comes from, that's feminism. The feminist movement has taught women that if they make money or if they get an education, they ain't got to listen to no man no more. God ain't never told you no dumb shit like that. And a lot of these women claim to be Christians. Some of these sisters claim to be God-fearing Christians, and what they're doing clearly goes against the word of God. God ain't never told your black ass, once you start making money, you get a job, a career, and an education, now all of a sudden you ain't got to listen to your man. God ain't never tell your monkey ass that. Show me one scripture in the Bible where God said, well, black women, well, women, if you make money, now you ain't got to honor your man. Now that you got money, you ain't got to listen to your man. That's feminism. God ain't never told you that. That's what I mean when I say a lot of these women are fake Christians. They're not God-fearing Christians. They're trying to make up their own rules. Never mind what God told them. They don't respect God. So what makes you think they're going to respect you?
Black men was hating on the whole bullshit that they did with Kamala. Oh, don't nobody want to see the black woman shine. And particularly black men. Black men don't want to see Jasmine Crockett shine. All the black men was hating on her. All the black men was talking about her weave, and the black man was tearing her down. So they literally tried to go with that talking point. They want to run with that narrative. Let's be real. They don't want to take responsibility for their political policies. The problem is policy. Let's just be real. Let's break this thing down. What the real problem was. Jasmine Crockett's policy was all about really prioritizing all of these other groups, immigrants, Hispanics, all of these other groups, LGBT stuff. And what's interesting, all of these Hispanics that she would pan.
You got an idiot in the comments that this has to be the most ignorant podcast. No, this is one of the most realest podcasts. How many black men have you heard say that before, right? Go to any podcast and if they said it, then it is what it is. But I didn't listen to them. I'm saying this because it comes from the top of my dome. What I'm saying is a lot of black women feel like if they got money, they ain't got to listen to no man no more. Black women feel like money replaces the role of a man. A lot of these women say, well, I got money. The children don't need their father. Listen, money can never replace the role of a man. Money can never replace the role of a father. But for some reason, well, it's feminism. We ain't going to say for some reason. We know what the reason is. Black women who are feminists truly believe that if they have money, now they ain't got to listen to no man because they got money. And God ain't never told none of these women that. God never said if you get money, now you can start disrespecting your man. And you ain't got to listen to him no more. God ain't never told these bras that. That's feminism. And so many of our women have been indoctrinated with feminism. They truly believe that if I got an education and some money, I ain't got to listen to no man no more. Right?
Be real. Let's break this thing down. What the real problem was. The Jasmine Crockett's policy was all about really prioritizing all of these other groups, immigrants, Hispanics, all of these other groups, LGBT stuff. Their political policies. The problem is policy. Let's just be real. Let's break this thing down. What the real problem was. The Jasmine Crockett's policy was all about really prioritizing all of these other groups, immigrants, Hispanics, all of these other groups, LGBT stuff. And what's interesting, all of these Hispanics that she would pander to, many of them ended up choosing the James Tallarico guy. They ended up voting for him. See, that's why that black and brown coalition, that's a one-sided myth. And the Democrats, they love pushing that black-brown coalition. And that's to convince.
Listen, if you go to a church, a black church, and the pastor is a woman, leave immediately. If you go to a black church and a black pastor, he's not calling out feminism, leave the church immediately. He's a pastor pandering to his audience and congregation. He don't give a damn about the best interests of black men. If you're preaching the word of God and you ain't calling out feminists, I ain't listening to you, period. I don't want to hear nothing I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. The overwhelming majority of those women in your congregation are feminists. So he don't want to say things that's his biggest fear is that he's going to offend the women and they'll start coming to his church. So he panders to them so that they'll continue to support his congregation, his church. So a lot of these black pastors avoid telling black women the truth. Why? Because black churches are made up of black women. The majority of the members are black women. So they're not going to say anything to offend black women, even if it's telling the truth. They're going to avoid telling the truth out of fear of offending black women who represent the majority of their congregation. But that's the reality. Do you know the majority of these women in these black churches are feminists? Not all of them, but I would say the majority of them. They don't believe in the word of God. They don't believe in the word of God. Their religion is feminism. A lot of these women will tell you, I'm a Christian. But when you talk to her, you say, hold on, you ain't no damn Christian. You a feminist. You think you can disrespect your man and talk back because you got an education and some money. That's feminism. God ain't never told you that bullshit was okay. Well, I can talk back and I don't need you because I got an education and money. Nah, God ain't never gave you that okay. God ain't never approved that. But they don't give a damn about what God is saying. They don't care about what God is saying. These women, their religion is feminism. I'm talking about a lot of these sisters that you see in the black church. Unfortunately, that's the mentality. I got money. I don't need to listen to no man. They feel like money can replace the role of a man. That's a feminist mindset.
Black voters to champion immigrant and Hispanic causes. It's never for them to help us.
You feel like money.
This is a one-way ass street. And Jasmine, she exhausted all of her political energy advocating for pro-immigration policies and all that people of color stuff, and then expected reciprocal loyalty at the ballot box. You see, and these Hispanic constituents, they were like, hey, that coalition, no, we're going for the white man or the white T-man. Let me watch my words here. You see, understand, these people, their anti-black bias overrides the whole minority label. See, the Democrats, man, they operate on this naive assumption that all non-white groups view themselves as a unified minority umbrella, and they share the same voting behaviors. And they ignore the reality of deeply ingrained anti-black bias within these non-black communities. I want y'all to understand some of these liberal white tees and
Girl, I got money. I don't need to listen to no man no more. I got my own money, my job, and my own car. I don't need to listen to no man. I'm an independent black woman. I don't need no man no more. And unfortunately, that's the mentality of a lot of our sisters in the black community. They've been indoctrinated with feminism. I said it to you before, and I say it again, black women. Money can never replace the role of a man. Money can never replace the role of a father. It is priceless. That's something that you cannot pay for. Can't put a price tag on fatherhood. Money can never replace the role of a man. Man makes the money, but the money never makes the man. And that is something that the majority of black women don't understand, unfortunately.
Liberal people of color, they have been some of the biggest enemies of black people. Do y'all understand that? I had a Zoom meeting with some city council folks earlier. And shout out to this brother who works for the city. This brother, because I didn't even know they were having a meeting about some of our permits at the museum. This brother who works in one of the political offices in the city, cool brother, he let me know. I didn't even know. So I hopped on this Zoom meeting, and he was kind of speaking.
You're not this woman saying your man can be any random dude. Nope. If you're laying up with this man and giving this man your body, you should be listening to him. Because if you're with a man, if you're giving your body to a man that ain't worth listening to, then the dummy is you. Let me repeat that for you people who are too slow. To all you women, if you are giving your body to a man that's not worth listening to, the fool is you. Straight up and down. I'm sleeping with him, but I ain't gonna listen to him. He can pay my bills and give me money, but I ain't gonna listen to him. So they'll give their money to a man that they don't listen to. They'll get a body to a man that they won't listen to. You ain't my husband and you ain't my wife, which means I ain't got no damn business paying your bills.
Shout out to this brother. But everybody, the city council people, all white. It was an Asian and a couple of Hispanics on there. And boy, they were, man, when I tell y'all they go out of their way, they've been trying to undermine us at the museum. They've been going out of their way to undermine us, man. These minorities and people of color. Man, I'm telling you, out here in LA, the black businesses, boy, they are doing everything behind the scenes. They do all this shit behind the scenes to undermine us. And then when you go around the area of South Central LA, all these Hispanic vendors all over the place. They give us the runaround, and all of these Hispanic vendors who can't even speak English get over the border. They get permits to do any damn thing. So, and these are liberals doing this shit. You understand? These are the liberals doing all of this.
See, listen, homies, when women say if they get money, they ain't got to listen to no man. Since they got money, the role of a father don't matter. These women don't give a damn about God or their children. You say, whoa, hold on, Red, those women are Christians. Of course they care about their children. Of course they care about God. No, they don't, and I'm going to tell you why. If you believe that money can replace the role of a man, then you're neglecting everything that you're neglecting God's teachings. You're going against God's teachings. And it shows us that you don't give a damn about your children, right? At some point, you got to understand your children deserves a father. I've seen so many women who are feminists, they'll say this, well, I got money, so they ain't gonna need their father. So you're going to rob your children of having a father. You're going to rob them of that experience because you want to be selfish. You want to be a feminist ass BIT, you know what, with money. So now all of a sudden you're going to say, it was one woman saying, my kids don't need their daddy in their life. I make enough money. So you're going to rob your children of the experience. You're going to rob them from the experience of having a father. All because you a feminist and you feel like you got money and you can do it all by yourself. It goes back to what I said. They don't love their children. They don't even love God. They're going against God and they're going against their children's best interest. Why? For the love of money. For the love of money. For the love of money, these women will go against the best interests of their children and they'll disobey the word of God, all for the love of money.
Don't let nobody fool you with all that liberal conservative stuff. Don't let nobody fool you with that. You see?
Yeah.
But going back to Jasmine Crockett and the Democrats trying to sit up here and blame black men for why she lost. Let's be very, very clear. That scapegoat tactic, they use that to avoid campaign accountability. See, blaming black men, that's like a default deflection strategy for people who refuse to audit a real assessment of what failed their campaign. You understand? That Tallarico, whatever his name is, that he had a very well-funded campaign. He had an economic campaign that captured a wider coalition across Texas, shaming black men. That's a way to ignore the structural and strategic deficits of their own campaign. And the demand for tangibles over performative representation, that was a problem. See, politics is an exchange of power for resources. This is not a high school popularity contest. A lot of black voters, particularly black men, are getting demand.
Shout out to Desmond Hill for the 10 on the Cash App. Shout out to 92 Dolo for the 5. Shout out to Urkeets Ross for the 25, right? Shout out to Larry for the 20, right? Shout out to Timothy for the 15. 92 Dolo, bless us with a 5. And shout out to everybody for blessing the super chat.
And specific. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about targeted policy agendas that's going to materially benefit the black community. Yeah, we're not trying to get all these little viral moments and all that hood ratchet aesthetic. All that stuff she was trying to pull, that's a political dead end. All of those viral clapbacks and all that performance.
Well, unfortunately, most FBA men don't call out feminism because they're too afraid to call out feminism, because a lot of these FBA men have a lot of black female supporters. My thing is this: if those women that rock with you are not feminists, why in the hell would they get mad? And if they do, middle finger to them. Listen, brother, a lot of brothers in the FBA community, they never call out the feminists. They don't say nothing. They're too afraid. Name me 5 FBA content creators. Black, I'm not talking about FBA people because anybody can be an FBA. I'm talking about brothers who make FBA content. Name 5 brothers that make FBA content that calls out feminism in the black community. Name 5 of them. I'm waiting for you guys. I'm waiting for your response in the comments. Name 5 brothers in the FBA community who calls out feminism in the black community. Name 5 of them. They'll talk about the white man all day. They'll talk about white supremacy, tethers, and immigrants all day, but they never call out feminism. And I know why. I already know why. And if you got common sense, so do you.
Hood persona. Yeah, that'll get clicks and retweets and praise from the liberal echo chamber, but that's not going to translate into statewide electoral victories.
Yeah.
And truth be told, that aesthetic is played out. More black people are becoming more politically sophisticated. You understand?
See, to all you black men in the FBA community, you'll talk about tethers, immigrants, and white supremacists all day, but you never call out feminism in the black community. There's way too much simping in the FBA community. The black men in the FBA community are too afraid to give black women constructive criticism. They're too afraid to call out feminism.
So people are demanding more. Yeah. And also in one of these videos from one of these Democrat operatives, they were like, yeah, these black men, they up here criticizing Jasmine Crockett. They sound like the white man. They sound like the white supremacists. That's a talking point. You notice that talking point comes from the DNC. All right. Y'all know that talking point. That's the DNC talking point. They always tell us whenever we want something, tangible, and we don't want none of these little, what's going on with the sound, guys? How's my sound? Somebody said something's up with my sound. Is my sound good? How's my sound, ladies? Sound is good. Okay. Somebody said it's going.
Listen, homie, if you a black man who claims to be FBA and you never call out feminism, you a simp. You're too damn weak to lead black men because you're too afraid to correct black women. I'm not saying you have to belittle black women and disrespect them, but at some point, as a black man, you got to call out feminism. You got black women in the church. These women claim to be God-fearing Christians, but these women are hardcore feminists. They claim to be hardcore God-loving Christians, but these women are hardcore feminists. And they're all over the black church. These women, listen, their true religion is feminism. Their loyalty to feminism runs deeper than their loyalty to God. I'm giving you the unfortunate reality that most foundational Black American men won't talk about because they're too afraid of the Black woman, so they say nothing. All they do is talk about tethers, immigrants, and white supremacists, but they're too afraid to address feminism. Shame on you weak-ass Black men for not calling out feminism.
Going in and out. Oh, but some people say it's good. All right. So it's good. Thumbs up. We good. It's better. Okay. Okay. Hopefully it's not going in and out.
How you gonna talk about the white man and tethers all day, but never call out feminism? But you a Black man who claims to be a foundational Black American. Talk about the white man all day. Talk about tethers all day, but won't call out feminism. Won't call out these female feminists in your own damn community. But sit up there and talk about the white man and tethers all damn day.
Out. All right. Hopefully it's not going in and out. Hopefully the sound is good. Hopefully the sound is good. Hold on one second. Hold on.
If you think King Supreme is a tether, you really on that crack. If you think King Supreme is a tether, you really on that crack pipe. You know what I mean?
Y'all bear with me. Hold on. Come, kitty. Oh, okay. Just somebody with a troll account. Okay. All right. See, did it go out again? The sound is fine. All right. The sound is fine. Okay. Yo, this come kitty person.
All right, let's go to this white man. This white man went in on Jasmine. Yeah. I noticed that about the brothers in the FBA community. They won't say nothing about feminism. It's cool to call out tethers. It's cool to call out the white man. But when you ignore feminism as an FBA man, you're weak. You're too afraid to call it out. And those of us with common sense know why. If you're a foundational Black American, you a Black man, and all you talk about is the white man and tethers, but you never call out feminism, I'm not listening to you. Because guess what? You a Black man who's too afraid to correct the women in your own congregation, too afraid to correct the women in your community. Now, Black women, to all my sisters out there, if you're not a feminist, this doesn't apply to you. But then again, we got a lot of women who are feminists, but they'll deny the fact that they are feminists. The majority of women who are feminists will tell you they're not feminists. You got to have enough common sense to know they are just by listening to them. Listen to them talk long enough and you'll realize that they're feminists or not. Never mind what they're telling you. Judge them by the things they say, and that's going to tell you if they're feminists or not. But I'm sick of you brothers, because you can do a better job with your platform calling out all of dysfunction, not just some of it. Call all of it out. Tell Black men where they're wrong. Tell Black women where they're wrong. But you FBA men are too afraid to be honest with Black women. That's why you avoid the conversation. This is why you avoid the conversation that pertains to feminism. You won't talk about it. You will pretend like it's not a problem in the world with it, when we all know that's a major problem in the Black community. But they're going to sit up there and ignore it as if it's not a problem in the world with it.
Election last night for senator, and the meltdowns coming from leftists today, as you can see in this video here, are absolutely hilarious to see. But they're not the only ones that are having complete meltdowns about this. Jasmine Crockett herself has been losing it, as we are going to be seeing today.
This is not America! Okay, I'm so upset. I cannot believe this is happening to our country. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves, Governor Abbott. All y'all. Shame. Shame. Shame on you guys. This is ridiculous. You're going to do whatever you can to suppress our votes. You already gerrymandered everything. You just gotta make it worse. You just gotta make it harder.
Oh my gosh, the meltdowns, the tears have been so delicious today. This will probably be the last video that we ever make about Jasmine Crockett because she is now out of a job, my friends, and it is glorious indeed. So, of course, we all remember roasting her for this video where she announced that she was going to be running for Senate, guys. This video is hilarious. The fact that she thought this was a good idea to put out there on the internet is just bewildering to me.
How about this new one they have? Their new star, Crockett. How about her? She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man. Oh, man. She's a very low IQ person.
Oh my gosh, this video is even more funny now that she got completely obliterated in the election last night. It's just fantastic. This is what she said. This was the cope that she was coming up with because now suddenly, according to the Democrats, there's so much cheating.
We cannot allow this type of behavior to be rewarded because so long as they know that they can win, even if it means cheating, then they will continue to do it.
Oh, so now cheating is a problem, huh? Now suddenly that you're losing your election. Suddenly there is so much cheating, even though there was never cheating before this, but now there is just so much cheating. It's absolutely hilarious. Now, of course, you know, it's funny because Cardi B was one of the people that endorsed Jasmine Crockett, and then she lost, just like what happened with Kamala Harris as well. Let's not forget that Jasmine Crockett also threw shade at Nicki Minaj, who, of course, is a very avid vocal Trump supporter now.
Ask about Nicki Minaj.
Crockett got pissed off with Nicki Minaj for supporting old Uncle Donald. Old Donald.
Because she's like, you know, very in the news these days, has like, you're doing a face right now.
We don't mess with Nikki.
You don't mess with Nicki?
No, we don't mess with Nikki.
Did you used to mess with her?
Oh, of course. I mean, you had to,
But then she supported Orange Man bad.
I will be clear, I have always loved Cardi more.
Okay.
And clearly my instincts were right to love on Cardi more.
Yeah, that didn't really help you out much there, did it, Jasmine? Jasmine Crockett storms out of her own event after crying they cheated. Let's go ahead and check out this video.
Yeah. Jasmine said they cheated.
So that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So, I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have
And you won't be back ever, Jasmine Crockett.
no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow.
Now, Crockett got 44.8%. Tellerico got 53.9% in Texas. Let's get back to it.
So, I love y'all too. Thank you so very much for being here. Love you down. I love you down, Dallas.
You could tell that she was just fuming at the end there. I love you too. I want to kill every single one of you. You would think that, you know, her posting videos like this would help. That she would win the election after posting things like this.
I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like Must have on a beat, bro,
You mean to tell me that posting videos like that didn't help her win the election? I am shocked. But you know, the internet always wins at the end of the day because
and she got her Popeyes gear on. Look at her.
This is just hilarious.
I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like Must have on a beat, bro,
I don't know.
Must have known me.
Looks like she's pretty happy at her new job, guys. This is just hilarious, man. There they all are. All of these losers.
This white man is loving the fact that she lost. That white man is celebrating. But he ain't the only one. The majority of whites feel the same way.
losers. And well, I guess she isn't going to be the star of the Democrat Party any longer, is she? So, Jasmine Crockett, I hope all of that paid off for you. All of the insanity, all the nonsense, all of your stupidity over the years. With that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Man, he roasted Jasmine Crockett. Damn it. Damn it, he roasted Crockett. Riddle me this and riddle me that. Jasmine Crockett, she lost. Now you all know, Officer Tap Dance is celebrating 100%. You know, she said she'll be back. She said, hey, man, hey, this ain't over with. It ain't over with. Jasmine Crockett said it ain't over with. Hit the like button. Let's go to this, man. Support the show. I appreciate you all. You all already know.
Jasmine Crockett is speaking now. We want to listen in right now to her campaign.
Dallas County should have the second largest voter participation of any county in this state. We don't have any of the results because there was a lot of confusion today. And so, you know, our Democratic Party chair, Cardall Coleman, he beat me to the punch, as myself and Colin all read. We're about to file a lawsuit to keep the voting polls open.
She says she's about to file a lawsuit to keep the voting polls open. So Jasmine Crockett felt like she was robbed. They cheated her. Yeah.
We were able to keep the polls open, but I can tell you now that people have been disenfranchised. The reason that we knew that there were problems is because we were receiving the phone calls and the emails. The polls were supposed to stay open until 9, according to a court order. The Supreme Court, just a few minutes ago, just said, shut it down. The Supreme Court also said that they are to separate any votes out that came in after 7 p.m. So here's the deal. I have no idea how it is that clerks are going to know who was in line by what time, because the rule is that if you're in line by 7, then you get to vote. And so once there was a court order saying you had until 9, I'm sure that there were people that joined the line after 7. They now are telling them that you have to separate the votes out. What this means is that we will not know what votes are to be tallied from Election Day out of Dallas County. For sure, we won't know that tonight. So knowing that Dallas County is a big dump of votes, we, in my opinion, will not know the election results overall.
Now, she said Dallas County is a dump. Well, you pissed them Mexicans off in Texas. But I'm going to be real with you. Even if she didn't say that about the Mexicans, they was not going to vote for Crockett. They're going to vote for a white person and never vote for a black person. That's just how the Latino community is. Kamala Harris would have did more for the Latino community. They said, we ain't voting for no white woman. We're going to vote for the orange man, even though the orange man deported their ass, and he promised to do so, and he delivered his word. Donald J. Trump said, when I get elected, I'm going to make illegal immigration, I'm going to make deporting these illegals my top priority the first day I get in office. True to his word, he did exactly that when he got in office, and Latino voted for him regardless.
So knowing that Dallas Election Day out of Dallas County, for sure we won't know that tonight. So knowing that Dallas County is a big dump of votes, we, in my opinion, will not know the election results overall tonight. We need to see the Dallas County votes to see where they are. I mean, if the early vote comes in, which we may have the early vote soon, If it comes in and I'm losing Dallas County, then we know kind of where this thing is going. So so that's my news, is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're gonna get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow. So I love y'all too. Thank you so very much for being here. Love you down. I love you down, Dallas.
Hey man, let's see what to say over here. Look at boy, look at here. You remember that boy? Look at here. Boy, look at here.
Well, breaking in just the last couple of minutes, President Trump says he will soon make an endorsement in the Texas Republican Senate runoff. Incumbent Republican Senator John Cornyn facing Attorney General Ken Paxton in that contest, with the winner set to take on Democrat State Representative James Tallarico, who just defeated Progressive Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. And the president is turning up the pressure, saying the Republican he does not endorse should, quote, immediately drop out of the race. Let's bring in Matt Whitlock, former senior advisor to the National Republican Senatorial Committee, and Megan Hayes, former director of message planning for the Biden White House. Matt, we got to start with you. Now, I've never heard the president do this before.
Well, I think what likely happened is last night the president's advisors likely went to him and said John Cornyn overperformed the polls in order to avoid having to spend $100 million in this state, which we might have to spend if it's Ken Paxton versus James Tallarico. Get in, endorse Cornyn, take this off the map so that you can save that money for offensive opportunities in states like Georgia, Michigan, and other places. Because I think Republicans feel like they have a good case to make against Tallarico, but we know Democrats will spend $100 million if they feel like they can beat Ken Paxton. Republicans would love to use those resources other places. So my expectation is the endorsement for Cornyn will be coming.
You know, we have seen Texas increasingly turning blue in big cities like Dallas and Houston, and John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, said that there's a real risk that the Democrats could flip this seat. He said, honestly, if you look at the polling in a general election setting, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that the seat flips depending on who the Democrats nominate. And here's the RCP average in the matchups. Cornyn beats Tallarico 45 to 43.5, Paxton 46 to 45. In a state like Texas, for a statewide race like senator, those numbers are razor thin.
Yeah, and I actually think that they're probably even more thin if the turnout that is coming in is being calculated. Democrats turned out more yesterday than they have since for the first time turned out more Dems than Republicans since 2002. It's an incredible number of Democrats turning out in Texas for a primary. So I think that these numbers and these margins are even closer. And Democrats, if they see that they can win, will put the money there and will put that seat back in the map because it will take Republican resources out of other states that are also close. So Democrats could have a real chance to take back the Senate.
As you said, Cornyn overperformed last night because Paxton was leading in literally all the polls, and Cornyn squeaked them out by a couple of percentage points. And then he took a flamethrower to him afterwards. Listen to what Cornyn said.
I refuse to allow a flawed, self-centered, and shameless candidate like Ken Paxton risk everything we've worked so hard to build over these many years. There is simply too much at stake in this midterm election for our state and for our country.
I think he was pretty disappointed that the president didn't endorse him in the primary. Do you think the president will endorse him now, or might he choose Paxton?
I do think he'll endorse Cornyn now. Ken Paxton has done a lot for the conservative movement. He's been the face of a lot of important litigation, a lot of fights, but he has a lot of unique vulnerabilities that put this into play for Democrats. And Republicans have to take this seriously. Tallarico is a radical. When you watch him on the stump, it's like far-left buzzword bingo, and he's winning because it's things like the southern border should be a welcome mat. Things like we need abortion care for our trans community. Things that are really radical.
Okay, so back to the border should be he said the border should be like your front porch, a big welcome mat and a lock on the door. Everybody cuts the lock on the door out. I'm just being fair.
That is
But he
fair.
also did say that there are 6 genders.
Okay. I mean,
Megan,
What
at
do
a
you
loss
think,
for
Megan?
words. So mark down the date
look,
and the time.
I mean, I just think that, look, Texas is in play here. We saw that last night. Democrats turned out. They picked James Tallarico. They have an incredible ticket. They have Gina Hinojosa at the top of the ticket.
And then for the most part, you know, Texas is known for being a red state. You got Democrats there, but it's a majority red state. So let's say if black men did vote for Crockett, do you guys see Crockett winning? If that was the case, give me some feedback in the comments.
Has a real chance to beat Greg Abbott. These are real contenders now, and I think that this is more about people are tired of the chaos of Donald Trump. They're tired of the failed economic policies. They don't want gas at $4 a gallon, which we're going to be seeing because we decided that we wanted to go to war with Iran. So I do think, regardless of some of these cultural issues that a lot of people have problems with, people care about the economics. And James Tallarico and Gina Hinojosa and other people in Texas are putting up a real fight and a real show for Democrats to make a fighting chance.
I've never seen you at a loss for words. But we'll mark down the $4 a gallon for gas, and if it doesn't hit $4, then we'll call you on that too. So Jasmine Crockett, this is really rich.
I'm going to miss her.
She's blaming the Republicans for her loss. She all but screamed election fraud. Listen here.
We don't have any of the results because there was a lot of confusion today. I can tell you now that people have been disenfranchised. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do. And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why.
The Democrats have told us for years and years there's no such thing as election fraud.
If Republicans were pulling any levers there, it would have been to help Jasmine Crockett. I will tell you, we're going to be pouring one out because we hope she doesn't go far because she's a content machine for us.
Right. I mean, but, you know, justice for Jasmine, she didn't get invited onto the Colbert Show, right?
Yep.
I mean, look, she put up a good fight. There's a place for her in the Democratic Party, but the folks of Texas wanted James Tallarico to run, and that's what's going to happen.
There's a place for her in the party, but not as the senator from the great state of Texas? Is that what
I mean,
you're
there
saying?
is a place for her in the party. There's room for more. It's a Big Tent.
Thank you. Really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Sean.
Now, does she win? If black men voted for her, do you guys see her winning? Or do you say, nah, she was going to lose regardless? You was gonna lose in Texas regardless. The Mexicans was not gonna vote for Crockett, man. Not in Texas. See, this is the problem with illegal immigration. The Mexicans, Latinos make up damn near 50% of the voters in Texas. So a lot of people feel like they need to appeal to them in order to win. You got all those anchor babies. Now listen, the illegal immigrants have anchor babies, and guess what? When those anchor babies get 18, they can vote. The children of illegal immigrants, which are anchor babies, the anchor babies turn 18, then they could vote. And that's what's happening in Cali. That's what's happening in Texas. The anchor babies are now 18 and they can go out there and vote. That's crazy, but it's true. You sit up there and have a million anchor babies, and she don't sit up there and vote for Crockett. Hit the like button. Yeah, man. Let's go on over here. Let's get some more stats and facts, and we're gonna move on to this.
In Arkansas.
Meantime, Douglas.
Millions of Americans hitting the polls yesterday for a handful of pivotal primaries last night, including key races in North Carolina, Arkansas, and Texas.
Meantime, Doug Lazader joins us live from Washington with the results. Doug.
Hey, good morning, guys. A lot of races to talk about, so let's start with that Texas Senate race that attracted so much attention and money. On the Democratic side, James Tallarico defeated Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett in that hotly contested primary. In a victory speech, Tallarico said he was going to take back Texas.
This movement is about whether the people will hold the power in this state and in this country. We launched this underdog campaign 6 months ago in my hometown of Round Rock, Texas. And since then, Tens of thousands of Texans have shown up to rally with us in every corner of the state.
All right, Jasmine Crockett, meantime, cited voting issues in Dallas and said that, in her words, people have been disenfranchised. Now, we don't know yet what Republican Tallarico is going to face. The Republican race there is going to come down to a runoff in May between Senator John Cornyn and State Attorney General Ken Paxton in what has been a bruising primary. A few other races also in Texas. State Representative Steve Toth defeated Congressman Dan Crenshaw in the GOP primary. Shifting now to North Carolina, where former Governor Roy Cooper picked up the Democratic nomination for the now open Senate seat there. He'll go on to face former RNC Chairman Michael Whatley, who won the Republican primary. In Arkansas, Senator Tom Cotton easily won his primary, as expected. For Democrats, the nod went to Hallie Schaffner. And back to that high-profile Texas race for a moment. It's worth noting that no Democrat has won a statewide race in Texas in more than 30 years. Todd National.
But if Republicans keep spending all their money on a primary, which is look like it's going to happen into May 26th, I don't know. That does leave a little bit of an opening for Democrats. So we will see. Doug, thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're going to bring in Aaron McGuire from Axiom Strategies. Aaron, thanks for getting up with us. Your reaction to this last night?
There's a lot of big stories coming out right now out of last night's election, and one of them,
Jasmine Crockett defeated in Texas. Senate primary race. Jasmine Crockett defeated in Texas.
is going to be the Latino vote in Texas. That's really what propelled James Tallarico over Jasmine Crockett. And Jasmine Crockett is set to likely, this will likely be the end of her political career as we know it. She had to not run in the primary for her House seat. So I imagine you'll see her leftist nonsense all over the news going forward, including her election denialism here. But that Latino vote you see in Texas is going to be a key indicator going not only into the runoff for Republicans, but also into the general election. This is a base that moved quite frequently. You saw a big move in the 2024 election for those Latino voters toward Republicans. And are we going to see that pendulum swing back? With this runoff coming in May, you will see what is going to continue to be one of the most expensive primary in U.S. history. All eyes on Texas.
You know, the Democrats, they have their pick. They're set. Do you think this is going to hurt the Republicans at all? Because they have a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, there is going to be no love lost between Ken Paxton and John Cornyn in this, 3-month runoff, the runoff into May here. And you're going to see a lot of money, like I said, come in. Senator Cornyn had about $70 million come in to try and propel him in this primary. To Ken Paxton's about $5 million. And there's, like I said, no love lost between the two of them. But the good news is this is the earliest primary on the calendar, right? We saw it here in March. The runoff is in May. And let me tell you, that is still a lot of time, politically speaking, into the general election. So even in what will be an incredibly bruising fight between two Texas heavyweights, you will see there is plenty of time for them to run on their record and run on their message versus James Tallarico, who is a good fundraiser, but is really a wolf in sheep's clothing when it comes to being a radical leftist and not a right fit for Texas as a senator.
So do you think the Democrats stand any chance of flipping this? I don't know if you heard Doug Luzader there right before he came to you. He said that there's been no Democrat that has won a state primary in 30 years.
Yeah, I call it the big Texas blue fever dream they have every cycle, where Democrats play this game where they dump hundreds of millions of dollars into Texas just to light it on fire. You can look at Beto, I was born to do it, Robert Francis O'Rourke. You can look at Colin Allred. You can look at the lady in the sneakers who stood on the Texas floor. Texas Democrats are trying to play the long game here, where they think they can slowly move the electorate versus trying to win flat out. Tallarico is the quote-unquote moderate that Democrats wanted versus the radical of Jasmine Crockett, but now they get to litigate Tallarico's stance. He's never really had anybody push him in a race before, so this is going to be one that is going to see Democrats yet again spend a lot of money, likely, and for not the result of a victory. This will remain a Republican Senate seat.
Okay, Aaron McGuire, always great to get your take. Thanks so much.
Illegal immigrants, they steal your benefit. Illegal immigrant, they steal your benefit. illegal immigrant. They steal your benefits. Immigrants will steal your benefits. Getting your benefits took by a damn immigrant. Now, how does that feel? Yeah, true story. Now, hit the like button if you haven't already, and make sure that you support this show in a major way. Now, I want to hear.
He was acquitted by the state Senate.
So you need to work. Let's hear what Officer Tap Dance had to say. Officer Tap Dance. Let's see what Tap Dance had to say about this, man. Nah, the hell with him. No, I want y'all to hear this again. This is what the Latino community. This is the Latino community. Check it out.
So there's a Latina that's come out.
I want y'all to hear what this Latin woman said again. Now
I'm picking cotton. You can't pay us enough. What do you mean?
Now, I want you black politicians to pay attention to this too. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Latinos were never going to vote for Crockett anyway. Let's say if Crockett never said what she said about Mexicans being slave and working on the plantation, Mexicans would have still they wasn't going to vote for her regardless. This was an excuse to not vote for her. They wasn't going to vote for her anyway. No way.
Oh no. What do you mean? Jasmine not going to Congress for Texas? Oh, Crockett. A girl can only dream. Listen, Jasmine, what was that one quote that you said? Let me think. Oh yeah, we done picking cotton. You can't pay us enough to go find a plantation. Yeah, you remember that.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I remember that.
Find a plantation. We are. We done picking cotton. We done picking cotton. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I remember that. How could I forget? See, 6.5 million Hispanic voters in Texas, which is like the majority of the electoral vote here in the state. And you mean to tell me that you think that we're still picking cotton? Hell no, girl. Hell, and that's why you lost. You're racist. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. If you would have pitched that in 2002, 2001, you probably could have gotten like a good drift. However, that was people in the past. Those kids that I grew up with that were chasing a field every summer, every spring with their parents, moving school to school because they had to go pick fruit with their parents, are now grown up. And guess what? Do you think that they're gonna go back to picking fields when they have a citizenship? No. As a matter of fact, they're not even looking to vote for blue people with blue policies that put their parents in fields. No. Some of them are real estate investors, business owners, they're passing down generational wealth, and you think that they're picking cotton. You out of your goddamn mind. I'm gonna remind you real quick, the majority of the Latino voters for Trump here in Texas live in the southern border. You know what happened in the southern border? No. Why? Because neither you nor Kamala have the balls to go down there. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Along the Texas border, poverty levels are sky high as it is. When you import a bunch of riffraff from third world countries and they end up in those southern border towns, they strain the resources for those people. Those people can't even survive. And then you're bringing in all this riffraff with a CBP1 app Ticketmaster to the United States and you leave them there. That's why our governor had to ship all those people out. And then y'all complain, oh, you were shipping all. Yeah, because you guys brought them here. You blue people brought them here to Texas and the southern towns were suffering. Not only that, but there was violence across the border in Tamaulipas, in Reynosa, all those cartels fighting to bring all those people over here. Why? Because they were profiting billions of dollars. And your ass still thinks that we're picking cotton? Take that. No Congress for Jasmine. As a matter of fact, why don't you go run for Missouri? What did you do in Missouri that they don't want you to run for them? Oh, I know. Exactly. Because people in Missouri see right through your... And so do we in Texas. Keeping Texas red.
So you actually heard what this Latina has to say. So she's saying that basically...
She said they ain't voting for Crockett. Listen, the Mexicans and Latinos was not going to vote for Crockett anyway. The cotton picking joke, the plantation, well, it wasn't a joke because it's true. Mexicans are the only people who do those slave jobs. Bringing illegal immigrants across the border is the closest thing that they'll ever get to slavery. They say blacks don't want to pick the cotton no more. Blacks don't want to work in a plantation. Blacks don't want to work in the fields no more. Okay, well, we'll get Mexicans to do it. Blacks don't want to do it. We'll bring 1 million Mexicans to replace black labor. Yeah. Oh, black people don't want to do it. I'll just get some Mexicans. The Mexicans going to do it with no problem. They're not even going to complain about the job. They're going to work hard to get it done. So you're damn right. I don't need black folks with cheap labor. I'll just get 1 million Mexicans.
Jasmine Crockett offended them when she had made that statement inside that church, relegating them to picking cotton, and they didn't like that. She said that a lot of times they went with their parents.
Hell yeah. I mean, think about it as a businessman. Let's say you got a group of people at your job saying, I ain't working for no $10. I ain't going to do it. But you got 1,000 Mexicans that's willing to do the job for $10. You're going to say, well, hell, let me get rid of these Negroes. I'm going to get 1 million Mexicans. I mean, but that's how business works. What you don't want to do, somebody else will do it. Somebody else will do it. We'll replace black labor with Mexicans. Since black folks feel like they too damn good to work in the fields anymore, since black folks feel like they too good to pick cotton, we'll replace them with Mexicans. Problem solved. Simple solution.
You know, traveling different places, working in the fields, and a lot of the citizens, and they don't have to do those sort of things anymore. So once again, Jasmine Crockett and her team did not read the room. Jasmine was run off at her mouth like she liked to do. And don't think, hey, you know, maybe I need to kind of wash my mouth. No, but
no. I mean, listen, hey, man, salute to my man, Phil Scott. Listen, man, they're using that as an excuse to not vote for Crockett. They was not going to vote for her anyway. The Mexicans weren't going to sit up there and vote for Crockett. Hell no. Hell no. Hell to the no. Let's see what Officer Tap Dance had to say about this. Let's see what Officer Tap Dance had to say about this situation. Oh, you know what? Okay, Negroes don't want to work the plantation no more. Negroes don't want to work in the cotton picking fields. All right, we'll just sit up there and replace Negroes with Mexicans. Simple solution. Bet the Mexicans won't complain about the damn job. You're Mexican.
So you need to work take care of your family. I'm just saying this right off the bat. Not that people hate divorces. I don't like divorce, but people are humans. They make mistakes. They shouldn't have been married to certain people. Some people cheat or whatever the case may be. If you are in public office and you have a divorce code, we're going to
out of last night election, and one of them is going to see. So I imagine you'll see her leftist nonsense all over the news going forward, including her election denialism here. But that Latino vote you see in Texas is going to be a key indicator going not only into the runoff for Republicans, but also into the general election. This is a base that moved quite frequently. You saw a big move in the 2024 election for those Latino voters toward Republicans. And are we going to see that pendulum swing back? With this runoff coming in May, you will see what is going to continue to be one of the most expensive primary in U.S. history. All eyes on Texas.
All right, go back to the clip where you could show Jasmine Crockett crap and that other guy. I told you black people, and y'all don't listen, to me, people. I told you black people, the other guy. I told you black people, the other guy. I told you black people, the other guy. I told you black people, and y'all don't listen to me because you let these other fools tell you that I'm an Uncle Tom Coon sellout bootlicker. I told you.
Well, you are a bootlicker. They're not wrong about it. You are an Uncle Tom type dancing bootlicker. You are. Is Donald Trump a white man? Yes, he is. Is Officer Tatum a bootlicker? Yes, he is. No lies detected here, sir.
Let these other fools tell you that I'm an Uncle Tom Coon sellout bootlicker. I told you that your vote is going to stop mattering. You should have been having babies and quit going to Planned Parenthood. You should be raising your young boys so they don't end up in prison. You got all of these things that you should have been doing. You should have been voting for candidates that were keeping these illegal aliens out of the country and prioritizing your community. But you didn't, because you hate Donald Trump and you hate the white man so much that you didn't oust yourself out of voting power. This is a perfect example.
He ain't lying about that. Now listen, he ain't lying about that. Black people have voted for policies that brought in millions of illegals to replace them. Now these anchor babies are 18. Illegal immigrants have babies. Anchor babies turn 18. Now these anchor babies can vote. Black people, you've done your community a major disservice by being foolish. Voting for Democratic policies, dumping millions of illegals in black communities across the damn country. What's wrong with black folks? They brought Mexicans and illegals to replace you. He's right about that.
This is a perfect example that you didn't oust you prioritizing your community, but you didn't, because you hate Donald Trump and you hate the white man so much that you didn't oust yourself out of voting power. This is a perfect example. Black people, you have no more power. It's the Latino now. They are the majority minority. Now what they want will come first. Now what their community needs will come first. The black and brown stuff was a sham. You ignorant folk that didn't listen to me. There's no such thing as black and brown. Black folks should have been standing up for what black folks need in the community. They done hijacked the civil rights movement to add brown, and now the brown is over the black. The black and brown was never about black people. It was really to incorporate brown into the civil rights movement. And now they hijacked your effort and energy to prioritize brown. Same thing with the LGBTQ. Your first black president, who was half-breed, first black president is prioritizing what? The LGBTQ. Hijacked our forefathers who fought to have a vote and have rights in this country, and now it's about Hispanics and gays. That's what you get. Come on. Jasmine Crockett crying herself to sleep after she took a massive L, talking about, we don't know what the result's going to be tonight. No, you did. You know exactly what look at that number. That result came that night. Roll the clip.
So that's my news.
Officer Tatum was 100% correct with that. See, I ain't got to like somebody to admit when they're right about something. See, a lot of you people, you be in your feelings so much to the point to where if you don't like somebody, you'll ignore that they said, you will ignore that fact. You'll pretend like it doesn't make sense. Officer Tatum said they use Mexicans to replace you. I've been telling you. They said, okay, we don't need black labor no more. We'll just get Mexicans. All these illegal immigrants who didn't have babies, those anchor babies are now 18, and now those anchor babies can sit up there and vote. Now they don't need the black no more. Now the Latino vote is going to matter more than the black vote. They don't need you no more. You're the minority. You have become the minority. They ain't got to cater to you to get in office. They can disregard what black folks want and just cater to Mexicans to get in office. Yeah. Cater to what Mexicans want. Never mind black folks. Black folks voted against their best interests, and now they've been replaced by Mexicans and Latino voters.
Is that we're not going to have election results tonight, in my opinion, based upon what specifically is taking place in Dallas County. Unfortunately, this is what Republicans like to do.
got to do with Republicans?
And so they specifically targeted Dallas County, and I think we all know why. So I want you to enjoy yourselves, but I won't be back tonight because I have no idea of when we're going to get results, and I fully anticipate it won't be until tomorrow. So
I love you down. What did that mean? All right, come on, give her another clip. Roll it.
All Red has already stated, we encourage each and every one of you to remain resilient. We cannot allow this type of behavior to be rewarded, because so long as they know that they can win, even if it means cheating, then they will continue to do it. So I am asking you, I am begging you to make sure that you go ahead and figure out where it is that you are supposed to vote, stand in line, wait in line.
She claimed that Republicans had anything to do with this. Why the other man ain't say nothing about Republicans? He won. Ain't the confusion didn't confuse his people. Now you lost, sis. I told y'all, I tried to warn you, black folks. You messed up. Now it's too late. You'll never have a vote again. You definitely won't have a vote in Texas. I'm telling you. And Texas has the highest population of black people in the entire country. And y'all just blew it. You kept voting for them Democrats. And look at where you at. Primaried. All right, let's go to Scott Jennings real quick. I think Scott Jennings had is this Scott Jennings? Yeah, Scott Jennings wrote a clip.
By the whole thing with Stephen Colbert. That was a big rocket for him. He had to be a real news nerd to know who he was before then. But that moment where, suddenly, Stephen Colbert, who's obviously a legend among Democrats, says, hey, this kid, Trump and these guys don't want to hear from. I'm going to let you hear from him now. That's when he really, he got $2.5 million, I think, the next day. And it put him on the map. You could see it kind of irritated Jasmine Crockett a little bit that he was getting all this attention. Because up until then, she was very far ahead. If, in fact, he closes, probably that's the day that started.
Yeah, I definitely think it was true. Like you said, we obviously knew Tallarico. We were covering him, looking at, the kind of personality he was, but it was completely different after that.
Pay for that level.
You can't, which is ironic because it was Jasmine Crockett who before was getting all the sort of, earned media online.
Scott, you look skeptical.
Well, look, well, let's just admit it was an op, right? Trump had nothing to do with it. It was CBS's lawyers that had raised internal issues about it. It was a total sort of a hoax about how they positioned it. But I tend to agree.
Details.
I know. I'm glad that's what you think. But I tend to agree.
It was a hoax. They positioned it to get attention to the interview. That's all.
Shout out to for the 20 on the Cash App. I appreciate you, Brody. First class citizen with the 20. Nikisha came through with the 5. I appreciate you, Nikisha, for coming through with the 5. I appreciate you, lovely. Shout out to you. So beautiful, so lovely. I appreciate you. Now let's get back to it. All right. Shout out to my man Carter. Carter blessed us with a 15 on the Cash App as well. Shout out to Carter for the 15. Much love to the foundational Black Americans. Shout out to all my Black people that's rocking with me, because one thing you got to know, anyway, we'll get back to that in a minute, but shout out to all of my contributors and supporters. We have hit 10K. So we hit the 10K mark. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The game is coming through oh so heavy. Bless that like button. You already knowing it ain't nothing.
They did it for. It had nothing to do with Donald Trump. Their own network said that you cannot cover two candidates like that on the network, but they used that to talk about it on the network to lead you to the actual interview. It's marketing 101. And to be honest, the Talavero guy, whatever his name is, he's a much more articulate person, and he can articulate a plan moving forward and not being a ghetto bird. People are sick of that ghetto fake attitude that Jasmine Crockett had, swinging her neck and sister girling every single day while she's on the news.
People got sick of that. All that sister girling, popping her neck, talking ratchet and ghetto with the mentality, I don't need no man. I'm a boss ass, BIT, you know what? Man, everybody got tired of it. You got sick and tired of it. Black men were fed up. Now you're going to blame black men for Crockett losing. Let me tell you something. Even if black men voted for Crockett, she would have still lost. Why? Because you've been replaced by Mexicans as voters in Texas. You've been replaced by Mexicans in California as voters. Yes. Am I hating? Absolutely not. But I will give you the facts.
And moving forward and not being a ghetto bird. People are sick of that ghetto fake attitude. Articulate a plan moving forward and not being a ghetto bird. People are sick of that ghetto fake attitude that Jasmine Crockett had, swinging her neck and sister girling every single day while she's on the news, and she's a complete idiot. It only go so far.
Officer Tatum, you need a battery for that smoke detector. I don't want y'all thinking that was my smoke detector. My smoke detector ain't beeping. That is Officer Tap Dance's smoke detector. Get a battery for that smoke detector, fool.
Not being a ghetto bird. People are sick of that ghetto fake attitude that Jasmine Crockett had, swinging her neck and sister girling every single day while she's on the news, and she's a complete idiot. It only go so far when it comes to how are you articulating to the people about things that matter to them. And that idiot who beat her is one of the Democrats' top candidates in the state of Texas. I'm telling you, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Jasmine Crockett had no chance. She's running against any one of the guys for the position. She has no chance.
Well, I gotta agree with Officer Tap Dance on that one, man. Listen, man, the truth is the truth, no matter where it comes from, right? So Officer Tatum told black people the truth. Black people are to blame. You wanted this black and brown to the point to where the brown has overthrown you. The brown has overpopulated black in many communities in Texas and California. Yes, it is what it is. And now they are migrating to the southeast region of the country to overpopulate that side of the country. The Latino population has grown significantly in Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. Eventually, the plan is this. Eventually, they want to overpopulate blacks in the southeast region of the country. That's what they're going to do if you guys don't be careful. They already overpopulated blacks in Texas. They already overpopulated blacks in California. Why? Because we are border states. It is a little bit too late. It is a little bit too late for Cali people to wake up. Mexicans have already overpopulated you. It is over with. Finito. Adios. Let's go. Now, yeah. Crockett need to get a real job. What do you mean she need to get a real job? You people kill me. I mean, you people are crazy when you talk about a real job. A job is something that you do to make money. A job is anything you do to make money. It ain't just clocking in to somebody. And no, that's not the only type of job you can have. You need to, listen. You know how many people who came to my comment section, Red need to just get a real job. Why don't you get a real brain? Then maybe I'll get a real job. I'm sick of Red doing these podcasts and making money. I'm tired of these influencers making money. They need to sit up there and get a real job. Shut your dumb ass up, fool. Trying to critique what it is that I do. Want to critique how I make my money. I'm sick of Red making these podcasts every day and making money. He need to sit up there and just go get a real job. Shut your dumb ass up, fool. A real job. I'm sick of you coming to YouTube and making money. You need to get a real job. You know? Yeah. You listen, homie. Listen. You know how many people who didn't sat up there and said that to me? Trying to critique how King Supreme makes his money. You need to get a real job. I'm sick of you coming on YouTube to get this money. I'm tired of seeing you making money on social media. You need to go get a damn real job, fool. Man, shut up. Shut up. When you go, listen, homie, when you get a real brain, that's the day that I get a real job. Yeah. A real job. You sound like these female feminists who are saying, I need to get me a real man. I need to get me a real man. A real man, my ass. Real man, these NUTs. A real man. Let's see what Willie D had to say about this. Hopefully, Willie D ain't pandering and caping, but then again, Willie D is a Democrat, so I expect him to do so.
Off rip, this was a study in contrast. You have James Tellerico on the left, who is, relatively a newcomer, right? He's a preacher man. On the other side, you have a well-experienced lawyer, representative, who's been in the game for years and who was a national star, really an international star, or who still is an international star in the Democratic Party. So what happened? Exactly what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Racism.
Racism.
On the left. That's right. I said it. See, I know y'all. I know what you look like. I know what you sound like. Yeah. Y'all think I wasn't going to say anything about it? Y'all thought I wasn't going to say anything? Yeah. You can holler all of that old she loud stuff all your ass wants.
Willie D said Jasmine Crockett lost because of racism. Okay, Willie D.
But when it come down to these politics, it's supposed to be about qualifications. Because that's the first thing y'all say when y'all don't like somebody. Well, they're not qualified. What they do to be qualified? They're not qualified.
Man, I had love for Willie D, but Willie D, man, you talk like one of them old school slaves. Still a Democrat. And Willie D, come on, man. You still think like a slave, my brother. I'm not dissing you, Willie, but damn, Willie, you gonna blame it on racism, huh? So Kamala Harris lost this past election due to racism. I get it. Voting for Jasmine Crockett is the same as voting for Kamala Harris. You do know this.
She was more than qualified.
She was more than qualified. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet and let y'all hear what Willie D had to say. Willie D blames it on racism why Crockett lost.
But when it come down to these politics, it's supposed to be about qualifications. Because that's the first thing y'all say when y'all don't like somebody. Well, they're not qualified. What they do to be qualified, they're not qualified. Well, she was more than qualified. I want to read something to you that I saw in the BBC. Another, it's a publication I just don't like. Let me just put it like that. Crockett, who appears regularly on liberal television outlets, had built a national reputation as a pugnacious partisan who was unafraid to confront Republicans and the Trump administration. The winner, Tellerico, who has a Master of Divinity degree from a Christian seminary.
See, if you thought like Willie D, I think you already know the result of that.
Offered a more genteel approach. While he shares many of Crockett's liberal positions, he emphasized finding common ground with disaffected Republicans in trying to reclaim religious values from the evangelical right. Let's stop right there. So they paint Jasmine as a pugnacious partisan. She can only attract these people over here, this one kind of people. But this other guy, he's more sensible, and then they also listed his academic credentials. He has a Master of Divinity degree from a Christian seminary, and he He emphasizes finding common ground. Let me tell you something, fam. First and foremost, all that's just talk, because we know Democrats and Republicans don't get along, and the Republicans hired Donald Trump so that they didn't have to get along, because they don't want to get along. They don't want to come together. They don't want to unite. So you got to have somebody that's in there that say, you know what? Get y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't want to rock with us. We don't want to rock with y'all. Y'all, we're going to get this done anyway. Because the Republicans ain't rocking with the Democrats. I don't give a damn what they do. I don't care what they say. They not rocking at all. You saw what happened when Barack Obama was in office. They went after Obama at every turn. They didn't give a damn.
All right, enough of Willie D, man. Listen, you guys. Willie D, my brother. Listen, man. We're not going to get anywhere voting Democrat. I'm not saying that we need to be Republicans either, but I'll be damned if I vote for another Democrat. Absolutely not. They won't get my vote. Oh, no. These Democrats are the ones who brought all these illegals across the border to replace black labor. I said it before, and I just said it again. Hit the like button, man. We're going to get up out of here. King Supreme, I appreciate everybody for putting up. Peace, love, and blessings, giving you gain to keep you from stressing. It's your player partner, King Supreme. Make sure that you like this stream in a major way. Peace, love, and blessings. I got to get up out of here, y'all. I'm gone. Peace.